Benaynatam, Adonai Mishem, Adonai, Adonai is given. You can bless with the life, like the Schaffner. Later than our own thoughts and everything. For the time that you've been with us here. Family, friends, community. Now in my case. In the words of Ecclesiastes, it's the season for everything. The time for experience into the heaven. The time for dancing and the time for living. Time for birthing and time for dying. Time for speaking. Time for silence. The time for seeking and time for listening. Time of mourning. Complicated time filled with emotion, memories, bitter and sweet. We begin our service with songs that link us, the tradition that is so dear to Martin Fly. Us, there's a Psalm for David. Do you deserve to enter God's sanctuary? Merit a place, presence of God? Who can do that? One who lives with integrity, does what is right, speaks the truth without deceit, who has no slander upon tongue, who does no evil. Do not mistreat your neighbor, spurn a contemptible person, but honor those who revere Adonai. Never retract the promise once made, but may bring harm. And no money for unfair rates, accept no bribes against the innocent. Make these deeds your own, and then you shall stand firm forever. You're all destined to die. You share life with all who ever lived, with all who ever will, and all that is. Cry for the dead, hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember the continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace. Be consoled when the soul departs. If their memories, your memories, and their best, the people that you love and care for them. Death is better than a life of pain. And eternal rest is better than constant sickness. Let us not seek to understand what is too difficult for us, nor search for what is hidden, nor be preoccupied with what is beyond, for we have been shown more than we can comprehend. The drop of water in the sea, as the grain of sand on the shore, our days are few in the face of eternity. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good reputation endures forever. Jewish tradition, we think of the soul, the person, and with having gone up into the heavens and sheltering with the wings of the divine presence. And that image, love, and care that reflects so much of the minds and meanings. Sing now in memory of this soul. El manera famiglia, shoke vantari, ansenu kanekona, tapa kanfe ashkina, malot kedoshim uteorim, Izoar kiyam aspirin. את נשמת מאיר, ונערות בתיה ויהי, שעלה לעולמו. וגן עדן מנוחתו, ברחמים, אזכירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים. יצור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני ומנחלתו, ינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן. Exalted, compassionate God, right infinite rest in your sheltered presence, among the holy and pure, the soul of Martin Schaffner, and the ear of the son of Aaron, who is gone to his eternal home. Merciful one, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace, sheltered in presence, your room. May his soul be bound in the bond of life and be rest in peace. And let us say, I do not have the privilege of knowing Martin, but God got Spain. And I really mean that when I say privilege, because as I sat around the table talking to this family, I had a picture drawn for me of a really extraordinary warm mother movie. Memory, stories that they shared about him, about somebody, really a perception. Everybody agreed. I remember. He was kind, friendly, social, outgoing, a man who loved the outdoors, especially being unborn. He loved Marge, his wife of 63 years, their 2 daughters, Ken and Liz, his husband Carl, their children Farrell and Thomas, his children Jacob, his wife Caleb, Ben. His childhood, Martin, was filled with family in the Jewish world of Rogers Park in Chicago. He fought with his sister Annie from the daughter as an adult, but it was on a solid foundation of love and care. As an adult, he called his parents, Aaron and Betty, every day. He took care of them as they aged. Even his mother's friends always spoke about how good he was. He worked in the family laundry from an early age and continued there until he retired, when he'd been running the business with his cousin Jerry. Martin and Marge were always together, and so in love. The home they built together with their 2 daughters was full of that love too. Liz and Jennifer spoke with smiles about the long family dinners and hours-long discussions, consulting books from the wall of encyclopedias to answer the questions that came up, or laughing as their dad shared stories about antics from when he was in college. They talked of the special treat it was to be taken to IHOP by him if they got ready early enough before school in the morning during the week. And how they loved going to lunch with him during the summers when they worked in the laundry. Martin and Marge were fair parents, treated their kids with respect and supported them. They involved themselves in their kids' worlds. Martin was president of the Hebrew school, driving them to Girl Scouts, and Marge was leading the troop. And all of his grandchildren talked about the same thing, about how their daughter was their biggest fan and supporter, their cheerleader, and how he loved all the swag. And even when Marge was in the hospital, Liz and Jennifer felt cared for, and they were never really free. Their father would sneak them into the hospital to give their mother a hug, and bring her to the window so they could wait and do somersaults in the lawn outside. And looking back, they realized how challenging that must have been for him, but he did it in such a way that they never had any idea. He was the one that talked to strangers. Even at someone else's party, he met them all. He had a strong group of friends from childhood who go on an annual fishing trip with. Took Marge on a date. And the elaborate treasure hunt at the kids' birthday parties. He loved to tell jokes. Apparently, built rollers. He and Alice used to trade what they call Gaga jokes. He played jokes with his neighbors. Not the kind of, makes you think it was practical jokes, but neighbors would complain about how the birds were eating all the cherries off their tree. And he hung maraschino cherries there. He took his families on vacations from the time Jennifer and Liz were kids, and later when they had their children. The entire family, 3 generations, went to Jamaica together. And he and Marge would drive to Tucson for winter, where they spent time with Liz and Jacob. They would stop on the way to tour and to see places. And Martin, though not an academic, really loved to learn. From his deep dive into allrecipes.com to preparing in advance for the hot weather for the season tickets. He listened to other people and valued their opinions and respected their knowledge. He loved gadgets, not to be the cool person with the latest toy, but to feel as he loved what the latest tech could do. It's always new. He loved music, singing, opera, symphony, musical. He played sports, loved the Bears. He wasn't competitive, but he liked the team. I'll share a few more stories. There are lifetime fathers that can be told. Ben told me once about how his wallet broke and telling his grandfather about it, but how he needed another one. And his dad took out his wallet, emptied it, and gave it to him to use. Caroline told us all about how her dad taught her to drive, with his trademark sense of humor that led to the bottom of the car factory. How he would poke his head into her room when she was doing homework, and he would say, "You don't know what you're doing. No, I can't talk about that. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you want something?" Carol told me about how Martin used to introduce him as his son. How Martin would take him out on the boat, a 37-foot boat, and after Carl got better at piloting the boat, he offered to let him pull the boat into the slip, which Carl did, although it would give the boat an year. And Martin said to him, "Don't worry, as long as you did less than $300 damage, it's still a good day." Today, as we gather to very mind, it's a morning of Thanksgiving. What's the legacy of his life? How will you all remember him? These are the aspects of his personality that mark his legacy, shaped his home, his relationships, and the people that his children and grandchildren are today. His self-learning, wanting to know about all different kinds of things and books, his curiosity and openness to new ideas and technology. And then for his wisdom and for his humor, his respect for others and his ability to make others' needs a priority, his optimism, positivity, his love of community and connection, his laughter, his love of Judaism and his Jewish community, and his really slightly cluttered spaces. And most of all, his love for his family and all that he did to support and care for them, and be their cheerleaders. His last 5 weeks made him tell his story best of all. He was home, and he watched the wake. He was together with Marge, and he was with his family. Many people can count their days. Martha made his days count, putting in openness, laughter, love, and support. Zelda, an Israeli poet. Wrote this. Each of us has a name, given by God, given by our parents. Each of us has a name given by our stature, our smile, given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given by the mountains, given by our walls. Each of us has a name given by the stars, given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name given by our sins and given by our longing. Each of us has a name given by our enemies, given by our love. Each of us has a name given by our celebrations, given by our work. Each of us has a name given by the seasons, given by our blindness. Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death. May the memory of Martin Schaffner and all that was in his life always be with us. I'm like, Karen, but who also wanted to share some.
Jacob, sign. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. For those of you who don't know us, we are Gaga's oldest grandchildren. And for those of you who don't know Gaga, you may have heard him referred to as Martin. We would like to share with you some of the moments that represent what Gaga means to us. Gaga means being open to new things, new ideas, new people, new inventions. Gaga welcomed it all. Gaga taught us to be kind to all and to make friends with everyone. Out in public, he was always cracking jokes with strangers. And at home, he always made everyone feel welcome. So many of our friends thought of our Gaga as their Gaga too. Many of you may remember how much Gaga loved our family Passovers in Chicago. He loved seeing his family together and watching the kids tie the shoes together under the table. As kids, we looked forward to hiding the hockey phone and watching Gaga's theatrics. He was shocked to discover the hockey phone was missing. Gaga loved his family and absolutely adored Mama. And Gaga loved jokes. When we were little, Gaga would encourage us to wake Nana up when it was time for breakfast and tickling her toes. As you can imagine, she didn't love it nearly as much as the rest of us did. But it was a fun family activity, and it was effective.
Gaga was the first to admit that he didn't like school, but he made it clear that he valued curiosity and learning. He was always interested to hear what we were reading, what we were excited about in school, and loved to support all our interests and our hobbies. He spent countless hours watching musicals with me over the years, and was Ellis's biggest fan in soccer. He practically lived in his teacher's school. Gaga was so patient and was always excited to have a deep or controversial discussion at the dinner table. Even when he knew he probably disagreed with everyone else in the room. Gaga loved Lake Michigan. He loved sitting on the deck watching the birds and fishing on the boat. He taught us all to drive the boat and to fish, but our favorite memories were when he'd speed around the lake so that we could go tubing. Gaga taught us to respect and fear the lake. He wanted us to love the lake, but also to be very careful. Gaga loved to sit on the deck with his binoculars and his coach's whistle, so he could easily let us know if we were out too deep or any other concern that he had, including if it was time for dinner. Like the rabbi said, Gaga taught me to drive. He was always there for all of us, in the fun and the not so fun moments. Here are a few things I learned from that summer when Gaga taught me to drive. Never let your gas tank get under halfway. The top half of your tank costs the same amount as the bottom half. You know you're fully parked once you feel the bumper hit the curb. That's why they call it a bumper. And always drive 10 miles under the speed limit. That one did almost cost me my driver's license. I'm so grateful that I was able to spend so much time with Gaga over the years, laughing and joking and learning.
Above all, I'm thankful for all of the love, humor, care, and curiosity that God has shared with us. He was an inspiration. So close. He was an inspirational man, and I hope I can care for my family, friends, and community as much as he did.
Times is one. Nothing to be lost. We shepherd, someone to help guide us and show us the way. So we read together on 23. Read together. Lord, my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me to lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside the still waters. You restore my soul. You lead me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thou art with me. Thou art with me. There is a table for me in the presence of my enemies. I know I can get well. Surely goodness, mercy shall follow me on all the days of my life. I shall dwell. Adonai Elohim Lo'echad Bino Desheina Hussein Aleinu Koru Yinarim Nachi Shobei Yam the gates of night, lo Shulchan Surai, Dishanta B'Shem Hashem, Osu Atov HaChesed, Yedefuni, Kol Yimei Hayai, Veshavti B'Rei Adonai, Veshavti B'Rei Corrections. Okay. All those for all those. Please come up. Tradition that we stand in honor of Martin passed away. In his memory and all that he meant to us. So I invite you all to stand spiritually.
Make them quite large enough to have boulders alongside, so why don't you, I'll lead you out, okay? We'll get you lined up at the doorway. And my staff will bring the casket, Rabbi, you're gonna come with us now, okay?